The Alton Towers resort has been making a lot of promising progress this past 2 years, with Project Sparkle aesthetically upgrading the park, a much needed update to the event offering, Bluey, and a couple of small ride renovations. But amongst all the positive moves, there's a major area for concern that I'll be getting into later in this video. Also, if anyone from Alton Towers happens to be watching this video, don't panic, I love the park. Between me and you, the provocative title is just to get clicks and views. Probably shouldn't admit that on YouTube. Oh well, it's not even really clickbait, because the purpose of this video is to express an observation and explain something that I think we should be mindful of in light of recent trends. Because whilst I know I'm not the most serious person on YouTube, I do try to offer some value in critical analysis. So if you do go on to find this video informative, please do consider subscribing. Or if not, I'm going to California next week, so subscribe for cool coaster clogs. Vlogs, whatever. Let's just get into the video. Nemesis Reborn, Ripsaw returning, Curse at Alton Manor, and Hex reopening is all great, I guess. Yeah, you've reimagined Jill after we all complained about wanting the haunted house back. Yes, you kept Nemesis the same like we all begged you to. And the fact we're getting a new top spin after we cried about losing the original is unacceptable. And that brings me to my first point, which touches upon nostalgia. And what I mean by this is that whilst nostalgia sells, it doesn't have the same effect on new generations, which, I mean, it tends to be the main audience for a theme park. Younger people getting older. We all know how life works. So Nemesis Reborn is the biggest addition we've seen to Alton Towers in quite a while. And yes, we love it. And I personally wouldn't do any different to what has been done to that iconic roller coaster and the whole of the Forbidden Valley. However, even Nemesis Reborn doesn't seem to quite get the same footfall as a new attraction of that size would do, especially relative to the theme park popularity. And the main comparison would be something like when the Smiler opened in 2013, the queues were enormous. I know a B&M invert has slightly more capacity, but still the queues were enormous. There was more fanfare around it. Plus, when you look at an even more recent roller coaster in the Wicker Man, that still gets a longer queue than Nemesis Reborn. So whilst nostalgia is perfect to reinvigorate the Forbidden Valley and, let's be honest, the park's crown jewel in Nemesis, this would likely be a flop anywhere else in the park, especially its neighbouring attraction. That's important for me to say, because it brings me on to my next point. Galactica. Now, it's been heavily rumoured that Galactica is set for a retheme. Personally, I love Galactica. I ride it every time I go to Alton Towers, and it has to go. I'll explain why. As much as I personally would love to see it rethemed, we did it before. And how did that go? No, really, I actually don't remember how that went. Flying coasters have come a long way since 2002, with the B&M flying coaster coming a long way since Galactica, even with the likes of Manta at SeaWorld Orlando. Boo. What else is there? Tatsu, Six Flags Magic Mountain, and the Flying Dinosaur at Universal Japan. I've got to go on that next year. Mark my words. Back on track, you've even now seen the likes of Vekoma's flying coaster, Fly, or FLY, don't know why I spell it like that, over at the wonderful Phantasialand. So in my opinion, I think the right thing for Alton Towers to do would be to show a bit of character and get rid of that ride. It's not very popular, and it opens up a nice space for a proper brand new e-ticket roller coaster. Admittedly, I haven't taken cost into consideration, but if money wasn't an object, we know that'd be the right thing to do. Put something like Fly there, theme it to the Phalanx. And if that was the case, it is with great regret that Galactica, you're fired. Definitely haven't got the authority to do that. Moving on, because as you can now tell by the video, the main concern for Alton Towers, in my opinion, is that they're not adding anything new. They are purely upgrading and updating existing attractions, which does show a little bit of a lack of imagination and a lack of confidence in pushing the boundaries. And what I mean by that is over at Thorpe Park, I hate to mention the sister park because I do think as an overall package, Alton Towers is the better day out. But with them building Hyperia, it showed that you can take roller coaster attractions to the next level. And whilst I personally rate Nemesis Reborn as an overall attraction just above Hyperia, the coaster layout itself does prove that technology has progressed. Roller coaster limits have gone a bit further now. And that's why I think that Alton Towers should probably look at implementing something new rather than improving what's already been done. Especially for a park that prides itself on world's firsts. Previously, you had Alton Towers always pushing the boundaries of what roller coasters could do. Obviously in 1994, Nemesis was one of the first inverted roller coasters by B&M and definitely the first one to be almost 100% subterranean. You then had Oblivion, the world's first vertical dive coaster. You then had Air, the world's first flying coaster by B&M. I know flying coasters have been done before, but not to this same standard. And then in more recent years, the first drop track coaster in 13. How could I forget the Smiler breaking the world record for inversions? However, that is now 10 years ago. No, that is now 11 years ago since Alton Towers has really pushed the boundaries and dipped into its little creative bag. And oh, what's that in my little creative bag? Not that. I'm not even going there, I'm going to Disneyland, the original. Back in the bag. Whatever, that's where. I'm now going into Alton Towers' little creative. What's the point? Project Horizon. This is where Project Horizon comes in. Absolutely butchered that. And this project, I believe, is still planned to go ahead for 2026 or 2027. Building the largest indoor roller coaster at the Alton Towers Resort over in what was previously Cred Street, up in between the world of David Walliams and the Alton Towers dungeons, which I think is perfect. You can balance out the park a bit more there with Nemesis Reborn completely on the opposite side, and then you've got another reason soon to actually go to that side of the park. So, as Thanos once said, perfect balance. He said something about balance, right? Anyway, this should break this trend and bring something brand new and creative and forward thinking to the Alton Towers Resort. We don't yet know what the theme will be of this huge indoor roller coaster, but looking at the code name Project Horizon, it does allude to a space theme, as Project Horizon was the title of a 1959 study to determine the possibility of constructing a scientific / probably a military base on the moon. It better not just be the black hole coming back, I'll be livid. Sorry about that. Thanks so much for watching. Like the video if you did enjoy it. Ciao, legends. That was good, wasn't it? Please, sir, can we have some more? You don't have to call me sir. But here's your link. Click it. Sir Pun a lot would sound cool though.